what I do is I look at the case, and if I determine that the victim needs to be followed up with, we have a department within our city, our police department that's called community engagement division. So within the community engagement division, we have the community liaison unit, and what they do is they'll go out. I'll give them the name. I say, this is what happened. Please check on the victim. They go out there. They meet with the victim. They provide, all sorts of resources, support, and services they can. And then also on the other side, I'll reach out to some of our community-based organizations and nonprofits, right? Like Sarah at CYC, for wraparound services for victims. And I'll tell Sarah, hey, this is what happened. It was really tragic. Is there any way we can help out? And of course, every single time Sarah helps out, every single time. I just want to point out and just make it clear, and I'm glad Tom gave that story about the graffiti, because we just recently, if you remember, just had a series of vandalism, broken windows in Chinatown, right? And also on Ocean Avenue. And that caught my eye when a few of them started to happen. And then one comment I want to make about that is there were some people that were not reporting it. I'm hearing it through the grapevine. So I'm sending my officers out there to take the reports because we want to get all this data, right? It's a series. This guy is going around breaking everybody's windows. It seems like it's targeting API community. So finally we get about 7 cases on this particular individual. We subsequently arrested him, and again, I think the number 29 is kind of weird because he was held on 29 felonies, including hate crime charges, right? But the point I'm trying to make is Sarah, all the victims, and I hope you don't mind me saying, maybe I won't say them now, but she went out and met with every single victim, provided help with funding to fix windows and other services. So I think I'm so grateful for CYC and what Sarah does.
Thank you, Sarah. I would think it would be interesting if you could walk us through case management for victim services, especially since I understand this is a fairly new thing that's being funded and you guys are ironing out the kinks. I think it would be interesting how, for other organizations in other parts of the city or other parts of the state, to hear how you guys are able to be effective.
I have to say, we start the walk before we know what we're doing sometimes. But I think it has been built into CYCs at how to do case management, because we've been working with a lot of high-risk youth and also family in the past. It's not like significantly different than any other cases our social worker has been dealing with. But I think the key is how to ensure that we provide language and culturally competent services. So currently our team that we have staff that who can speak Cantonese, Mandarin, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Thai, and Cambodian. It's really truly a very diverse Asian team that they have been born and also raised in San Francisco, that know the community network, know other community agencies that are also providing service from the grassroots, and also they themselves know a lot of community members in their own ethnic community. So one thing that I think very easy or other people will see as a major challenge is how to engage the victim right away or their families. I think when we receive the referral from captain or from the community liaison unit, either from the district attorney's office or even from the hospital when they suspect there's some could possibly be assault cases, when we receive the number and the client's information, when we make the call using the language we know the victim or the family speak, that's already a big relief. We also tell them where we actually received the referral, where we heard about their cases, and also trying to provide help to them. And I think for CYC, because we've been around the community for 50 years, for many of them, they actually know about us. They heard about our name, so they won't worry it's a scam. So they also know we have a website, they know that we are someone that already been providing service in the community. And after that, then we will try to do an intake and assessment to understand how severe the case is. Is the victim still in the hospital? What kind of support they might need? Could it be medical need? Could it be help to connect with the district attorney's office or to the legal system, to the police department? Do they need any mental health services because they might have crisis and they might not realize that they might have flashback or they might have fear, they cannot sleep at night. How can we actually refer them to mental health services for support, whether it's short-term therapy or maybe longer-term treatment plan? They might also need help to how to access like government benefits or government resources. For example, since February, we've been serving over 48 victims by now, only in San Francisco. And for all these victims, I'm not even counting all those like vandalism case where the merchant is truly victim of crime. For many of them, they're elders. They have never heard about adult protective services. They do not know there's a number they actually can call to connect with human service agencies that they might qualify for IHSS, the in-home support services. If they're being discharged from the hospital, who's going to take care of them at home? Who's going to be there 24/7 for them? And they might come from a very low-income family, so they're afraid to ask. Will that cost a lot? But we were able to actually offer them and tell them what available service is their right and also what they can access for. And I think most importantly, we were able to also set up a victim fund. We have a GoFundMe page, but also on top of that, when we seek funding from private foundations, they're more non-restricted funding, we all lump it into the victim fund. So for example, there's an elder that need to go home that they need an IHSS worker, that maybe IHSS only can offer up to 40 hours per week. We were able to use the victim fund to pay for the rest, that if they need more hours or longer hours every day for someone to take care of them. So it's hard to say wrap around in a way that is really trying to look for different perspectives to help the victim however we can. But we cannot do it with other community partners and all the key departments.